Can you remember how fruits and seeds are formed? Look at the apple flower and the apple. What happens to the apple flower after fertilization? Key in the missing words in the sentences to show the development of fruits and seeds. Compare your answer with this. Did you get the answers right? In this unit, this is nasi lemak, our favorite Malaysian breakfast. Looks delicious, doesn't it? Which parts of the dish come from seeds? A seed consists of several parts. The outer covering of a seed is called the testa, or the seed coat. The testa has a scar called hilum and a small hole called the micropyle. Inside the seed, there is an embryo made up of a radicle and a plumule. Most seeds have two cotyledons, which are the food stores. Each part of a seed has its own function. Click on the parts to know what these functions are. The testa, which is the thick outer coat, protects the seed. The plumule grows to form the shoot. The radicle grows to form roots when the seed germinates. The hilum is the place where the seed was once attached to the wall of the fruit. The micropyle allows air and water to enter the seed when the seed is ready to germinate. The cotyledon stores food. The food is used by the embryo when the seed germinates. Let's look at our favorite Malaysian breakfast again. The parts that are seeds or contain seeds are peanuts, cucumber, chilies, and rice. Did you get them right? Label the parts of a seed. Drag and drop the labels into own important function. Compare your answer with this. Did you get the answers right? Which part will be record? Micropyle, hilum, cotyledon, radicle, and plumule. The testa is the outer covering of a seed that protects the softer parts of the seed. Air and water are absorbed through the micropyle when the seed is ready to germinate. On the surface of the testa is a scar called hilum, which is the place where the seed was attached to the fruit. Inside the seed, there are food storing structures called cotyledons. The food contained in the cotyledons gives energy to the embryo when the seed germinates. The embryo is made up of the radicle and the plumule. The radicle develops into the root, while the plumule develops into the shoot. Birds help to disperse seeds to other areas through their droppings. Watch the animation. What will happen to the seeds in the droppings? Do you know what germination is? Look at the animation. You are looking at how a seed germinates. Germination is the initial stages of growth of a seed to form a seedling. What happens to a seed when the conditions are right for germination? Let's observe the physical changes it undergoes. First, the seed in the soil absorbs water through its micropyle and swells. Then, the tester splits open. The radicle comes out of the seed coat and grows downwards in search of water. Next, the cotyledons spring out of the soil and starch in the cotyledons is used for growth. Lateral roots grow out of the radicle so that more water can be absorbed. Plumule grows out of the cotyledons to produce new shoots. The shoots become the leaves. Once the first leaves appear, the seedling is able to make food for the plant. Finally, the withered cotyledons fall off, and the plant continues to grow. Let's look at the bird droppings again. What happened to the seeds in the droppings? The seeds in the bird droppings germinated into seedlings because of favorable conditions. These are pieces of key in 1, 2, 3. Did you answer correctly? The radicle of the plant, the part of the A seed begins to germinate when it absorbs water and swells. During germination, the radicle comes out from the tester and grows downwards to form lateral roots. The plumule comes out of the cotyledons and grows out to form leaves. Then, the cotyledons wither and fall off. This is a common sight in our sundry shops. Look at the various types of seeds sold. These seeds could have been stored for many years. Why don't the seeds germinate? Seeds need suitable environmental conditions for them to germinate. Which of the following factors do you think are important for germination of seeds? Seeds need enough water, air, and suitable temperature before they can germinate. In order to determine the conditions, we need to do experiments. First, let's find out whether water is needed for seed germination. In this experiment, you have to determine what the variables are. What are the factors you want to keep the same, fixed variable? What is the factor that you need to change, manipulated variable? What is the factor that you need to observe and record, responding variable? Click and drag the factors into the correct boxes. Now, let's formulate the hypothesis. Choose an option to formulate your hypothesis. To list out the materials and apparent correct order, key in the numbers. Click on order. Key in both water to saturate the cotton wool. Click on steps to see if your arrangement is in the correct order. There are many types of plants around us. Look at some of the plants in this garden. Do you know the name? Can you remember? This is a common sight and arrange the steps in the correct order. First, you need to take 2 beakers and place cotton wool pad at the bottom of each beaker. Then, add the same amount of seeds in both beakers. Label the beakers with water. Here's 10 example shows in the tap of each beaker with a needle. Leave both beakers for 3 days. Next, write down your observations in the table shown. For your conclusion, answer the following question. What can you conclude? What about your hypothesis? Is it acceptable? Click on the box to find what your hypothesis should be like. You have carried out an experiment to find out if water or moisture is one of the conditions for seeds to germinate. What about other conditions? Design and find out if other conditions such as air and temperature affect the germination of seeds. Discuss with your friends the variables you need and how you are going to carry out these experiments. Based on your experiments, you should arrive at these conclusions. In order to germinate, seeds need water, air or oxygen, and suitable temperature. This is why the seeds that are sold in the shop do not germinate, because the seeds do not have enough water, air, and suitable temperature. Key in the correct answers into the spaces provided. Compare your answer with this. What happens when a seed absorbs water? Click on the correct answer. That is correct. Germination takes place only in D, where all 3 conditions, that is, water, air, and warmth, are present. The conditions required for the germination of seeds are air, water, and suitable temperature. What does the embryo consist of? Click on one of the questions to see the answer. What is the structure of a seed? A seed consists of the testa, micropyle, hilum, cotyledon, radicle, and plumule. What are the functions of the different parts of a seed? The micropyle allows air and water to enter the seed for germination. The hilum is the place where the seed attaches itself to the fruit. The plumule grows into a shoot. The radicle grows into a root. The cotyledon stores food for the embryo. The tester protects the seed. How do seeds physically change during germination? Germination begins when the seed in the soil absorbs water and swells. During germination, the tester splits and the radicle comes out. The radicle grows downwards in search of water. Lateral roots grow out of the radicle so that more water can be absorbed. Meanwhile, the cotyledons come out of the soil and grow upwards. Plumules grow out of the cotyledons to form new shoots. The shoots become the leaves. Finally, the withered cotyledons fall off. What are the conditions required for seeds to germinate? For germination, seeds require water, air, and suitable temperature. Research shows that people who frequently eat nuts have a reduced risk of heart disease. This is because nuts such as almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, and pistachio nuts lower cholesterol levels. Find out more about how nuts can reduce cholesterol levels. Look at the photo. Is the seedling growing from the fruit or the seed? Discuss in your group. Then, give a brief presentation on your conclusion.